Welcome to Stay Paid and Happy New Year's, everybody. Welcome to 2024. Hope you have your goals set and are ready to go and absolutely crush it here in 2024. Luke and I are committed to be along this journey with you. We're going to continue delivering great content twice a week. If you're listening to this feed, and this is our real estate, so Stay Paid real estate marketing feed, we are changing the schedule up a little bit because, as you know, we have a second show now. So now we're going to be releasing our guest episodes on Monday, same as always. Silver Dollars are going to be moving to Friday. And then on our second show, which is Stay Paid Insurance and Financial Marketing, we're going to be releasing those guest episodes on Wednesday, and then the Silver Dollars for that on Friday as well. So hope you get a chance to check out our second feed there here at Stay Paid. But this episode, very excited. This is going to be a repost of the most popular episode that we had in 2023 by number of downloads. This is with Garrett Maroon, and I love this episode because it is a timeless bit of advice that Garrett gives, how he built his business, and you'll hear all of his stats and how many people, how many deals he actually did from his book of business, from his relationships, built his entire business on referral based only. So make sure to stick around. If you're new to the show, this will kind of give you some insight into past guests that we have. Make sure to go back, check out those back catalogs, listen to some of those great episodes. But just want to wish all of you a very happy new year. And now let's get into this week's episode.
Welcome to Stay Paid Real Estate Marketing. Unlock the secrets of success in the real estate world, where each episode delivers valuable tips and strategies to elevate your marketing game and help you succeed in both life and business. Brought to you by Reminder Media.
Welcome to another episode of Stay Paid. I'm Joshua Stike along with Luke Acree. And before we bring on our guest today, we'd love it if you take a minute to subscribe to Stay Paid on Apple Podcast or Spotify. And while you're there, drop us a review to let us know how we're doing. We'll read it here on the show. This week's featured review comes from Amy. ZB, Amy's back. She's like the MVP.
Yeah, love Amy.
Reviewer. Love that. She's a client of ours. She says, failure is free. Fear of failure can bankrupt. That's a good title for the thing. 5-star review. She goes on to say, went back and replayed Sherry Johnson, which was number 351,
Great
Sky's
episode.
the Limit podcast on pipeline business. One of the best I've heard. Absolutely. She pops the self-imposed fence. And then she mentions again, Beth Traverso's. I revisited it. Number 109, Compound Effect. She revisits this one often. She urges to claim our profiles on every platform and get reviews. That one episode has helped me immensely. I saved and re-listened to it. So if you're not going back through and listening to the backlog of the episodes,
You're
there's a
missing
couple
out.
extras for you to check out. You can find all of those at staypaidpodcast.com and on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. Our guest today is Garrett Maroon. Garrett is the owner of the nationwide training program Business by Relationships, having sold over 500 homes 100% by repeat business and referrals in the last 8 years. Garrett is bringing his expertise and experience to others through his training programs, his podcast, Serving Not Selling, and his upcoming conference in March of this year for Christians in the real estate space called The Faithful Agent. Garrett, welcome to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
Thank you guys for having me. You guys are way cooler than me, and you make me sound way better than I am. So I appreciate that. I'll take it. I need to copy that and use it on our own show. Look what somebody said about me.
Hey, man,
I appreciate it.
We mention it often. Josh has the best intro in the biz. That's what we were told by Matt Leonetti one time.
Yeah, he was being nice.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
So speak about just fluffing relationships. You know what I mean? Matt was just being nice to us. But no, super excited to have you on. Your way you kind of grow your business is exactly what Josh and I believe and what we've been preaching for the last 2 decades, which is, hey, it's referrals. That's where it's at. Referral and repeat business is the name of the game if you really want to scale specifically in real estate. But I believe it to be true in so many different industries. Would love for you to intro yourself to the audience, share about your story, how you got into real estate.
Yeah, so I've been in for a little over 8 years at this point. I was working at the university I graduated from. I was an assistant director of admission. And literally it came one day, my wife came to me and said, I think you'd be good at real estate. And my parents were totally against the idea of commission. You know, that's not how I grew up. I liked my consistent paycheck. She said, I think you do it. You could do this really well. And so fast forward, I decided to take a leap. Had no idea if I was an entrepreneur, right? Had no idea if I liked business. Joined a team, started on a team, and gave myself 3 months to sell a home or I'd quit, and I didn't. So I remember going to my wife and saying, can I get 3 more months? She said, sure, but then you got to quit, right? And 5.5 months in, I finally got my first client it. And that deal ended up almost in a lawsuit and everyone cussing at everyone, not me.
Wow.
He's stuck in the middle. And so I was like, this job really sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. Right. But thankfully I had another good client and just kind of continued to build from there, went on my own about a year and 3 months into the business. But, I didn't grow up here. So I started with 40 people in my database, right? Didn't have a huge database, didn't know a lot of people, and came in. I didn't know anything, but I at least had the wherewithal to say, if I'm going to build this 5 years from now, if I have a business, if it's built by anything other than relationships, I won't like it. I won't even want to own it. Right. And so I set out to just master that one thing. I've never done an open house or a cold call or bought a lead or anything like that. And so I just came in to focus on working by relationship. How do you maximize the relationships you already have? And along the way, what's interesting is my second year in the business, I sold 50 homes that year, but the team leader, Sam Keller-Williams, the team leader of our office, asked me early that year, what do you want to do? I said, my goal is 50 transactions this year. I'll buy referrals. And literally the first thing she said is, you can't do that. It's not possible. What else do you want to do? And I was 27. And so I was like, well, I think it is. I was stubborn enough to be like, well, I'm going to do it then. And we figured it out. And I've just been kind of on that journey since then of really sharing what I think the good news about the real estate business is you can build it the way you want to, which is by relationships, right? You just got to be good at it. You got to focus. You got to understand it more than just, well, please tell your friends about me. That's not how this works, right? So, and you guys do such a good job helping people understand that and be consistent and staying in front of them, right? And so I've just been fortunate to be able to build that way and stay really highly consistent in the relationships. And now it's me and an agent and a transaction coordinator. I work 3 hours a week in that business. We did 88 deals this year. Jeez. And he does all of them. Yeah, which is awesome. So I can go do other things.
All referrals?
So all referrals, correct. Me and him. That's all we do. Yep. Yeah. So we're really fortunate for that. And, but I think it's just a testament to the industry typically tells us there's one way to do it. You got to do this. You got to cold call. You got to door knock some. You got to open this, blah, blah, blah. And the people that I know that are highly relational burn out because they're like, well, I'm not good at those things. I must be bad at this. And they burn out because no one ever told them they could do it the way they wanted to. And that was by relationships, right? So I'm kind of on that path and I've been really fortunate to have done really well and, now be able to share some of that message.
That's awesome. How did you get it started then? Because you mentioned 40 people in your database. Did one of your first deals come from that database or were you growing your network in different ways being in a newer area?
Yeah, great question. So no, I've never gone out and purposely grown my network. It's probably one of my flaws. I don't like to go out and just meet a bunch of people and add them to my database. It's not my personality. So honestly, it was the 40 people that so backtrack. I know now the average person knows 256 people. So I didn't understand it at the time, but my database of 40 people was connected to, 10,000 people basically. Right. So I knew that through those 40 people, if I just served them at a really deep level and I understood how to get them to think about me as an agent, that eventually they'd come across someone who's thinking about buying or selling a home. They'd think of me and I'd connect with that person. Right. So
and what were you doing? Yeah. What were you doing to serve? Like kind of explain to the audience, like what were the things that you were actually doing to serve that group, to instill that in them? Yeah.
Man, so I was doing what everyone knows and should do, right? I was sending out a mailer consistently, sending out an email consistently, and then doing the actual personal touch. So now the way I work it is what I was doing then. But so 1 month I'd make phone calls to everybody, check in, see how they're doing. It was never about real estate, right? People don't want to be a transaction. They want to be a relationship. And so it was always about how you doing? How's things going? Might not even talk about real estate. But now at the beginning, Josh, I needed to get them to think about me as an agent. Nobody refers, I was the worship leader at my church. Nobody refers a worship leader to help someone buy a house, right? I needed them to think about me as a real estate agent. So I would do a phone call and I'd always use the words business and real estate in that. So Josh, man, it was great to see you yesterday. Hey, wonder if you had a quick minute to talk business. I want to share with you what's going on in the real estate market, right? Something simple like that. And then the next month I'd write a handwritten note. Less than 0.7% of mail was a handwritten note. So I knew they'd open it. And then the third month we would do a client event. And at the time I had no money, right? So it was something super simple. Like, guys, we're going to be at the park. Would love for you to come join us. Right. And maybe I'll get some coffee or donuts or something like that. So It was honestly just being consistent and taking an interest in the relationship. And now I understand way more data about why it works. But at the time, it was like, I'm just going to really care for these people because I've seen, for decades, referrals have been the thing consistently that work for people's business. I don't care who you are, what business you're in. And if I can just do it, it's got to work because it always does. Right. So I just had that belief and I just kept caring. And eventually that came back. Honestly, that's really what it was.
It's so good. I think the pain point everybody faces is relationships a lot of times aren't instant gratification. You have to nurture them, right? You have to put in the work and the love to end up getting even some bit of reward, even though that's not the sole purpose of investing in the relationship. But I think that's what keeps people from doing it. Can you walk us through, I know you have this 36 touch system. Can you walk us through kind of that 36 touch and elements of it and why it works for you so well?
Yeah, man. So, 36 touch is not a new idea. I wish I was the one that created it, right? But it's been around for a long time. So what I really wanted to do for myself was, how do I make it more repeatable, systematic, right? I call it systematic relationship building. And I know systems is a bad word for people, but when I'm teaching, I always say, my wife and I have a date night every other week. I have a family night with my kiddos every Saturday. That's a system, right? Everything in life is a system. If you care about it and you try to do it consistently, it's a system, right? Why would we not put our relationships on the same thing? And so for me, it's a mailer every month. It's an email every month. That's very basic, but then
those mailers and emails, sorry to cut in a little bit, like, can you describe a little bit of what those are content wise?
Yeah, sure. So very, very basic. Every quarter, once a quarter, it's about the market, the real estate market. But then in between, it's, how to show people in your life you're grateful for them, 10 ways to do that, or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's simple. Those are, now you guys do such a good product, right? What I'm talking about is it's just showing up because I said I was going to show up. Those are low value touches in my world. What you guys do is a really high value touch, right? So in my system, it's just show up, just do a mailer, just make it look good. I don't really care what it says. People open their mail over the trash can, right? So they're going to throw it away. Send out an email. It's basically the same content. But the real magic is every quarter we go through the same cadence. So the first month of the quarter is what I do, a video text message to my database, every person. The second month is a handwritten note or a pop-by gift to the top 25 people. Now those are, I could go into detail. The third month is a client event. So it just repeats. So then every quarter, do the same exact cadence, right? It is what I've seen, traveling around and teaching is it's not that people don't care about investing in the relationships agents, not that they don't care about investing in relationships. It's that they tend to be so inconsistent that if someone says you're important to me and they don't call you for 7 months, you don't believe them, right? So we need some sort of way to consistently prove I actually care. That's why I'm reaching out. Average person today has fewer than 2 close relationships. They did a 10,000 person study. People are more alone than they've ever been.
Wow.
The most important thing for you to be successful in real estate is be one of those 2 or take those 2 to a 3. And the only way to build relationships, like you talked about, Luke, is just to show up and care.
Yes.
And so that's really all this is. It's not rocket science. It's consistency.
I just want to ask real quick, what's been your most successful client event? Because we hear a lot of top producers like you, that seems to be more and more. We're hearing client events. What's your most successful one?
Man, well, so I would say our most popular one is in the fall every year. Yeah, in the fall every year, we do from 9 to 11. We rent a local park and we do coffee and donuts and free family portraits. So I pay our photographer to come. People show up. We do free family portraits. Yep, coffee and donuts. And then afterwards, we get them printed, we frame them, and then we drop them off at their house, right, as a pop-by gift. So yeah, we do that every single year.
How much does that cost you, just average?
Man, like $600.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, dude, I have not spent more than $1,000 on a party in years. It's just, I think we misunderstand. Humans are more simple than we think, right? If they're alone, like we miss the point. We think they want flash and all this crazy stuff and expense. And not that that's not fun, but when we understand the real nature of humans, the average person having fewer than 2 close relationships, what they really want more than your money, more than your stuff, more than your skill set is your friendship. They just need someone to care about them. And so for us, it's you can care inexpensively, right? You can just show up, being the guy or the girl that's there. We did rented an ice cream shop and did that for 2 hours in July. And that was our most expensive. It was like $800. But how simple is that? We did a movie, right? We do a holiday drive-through lights tour. That's what we just did in December. And it's so inexpensive, but it's not about that. We've got to move out of that. I hate spending money. I'm interested in doing the right things that generate the most profit, but it's the fact that people are alone. They're alone. And that's a sad reality. They're alone. They need you to show up. Yeah. Just show up. That will do way more for your business than spending $10,000 on some crazy client event.
No, I definitely think consistency trumps, the expense or the extravagancy. Definitely. Can you give a couple other examples? Because you mentioned pop-bys and you just said that dropping off the pictures was one. Do you have any other examples of pop-bys that people really enjoy?
Yeah. Sure, man. Yeah. So we do every August, so my rule is it's got to be $2 or less. Right. The value is not the gift. The value is that I showed up. People don't show up at your house anymore for no reason, just to drop something off. So in August, we always do a spatula, $1 spatula. It says, I flip and love your referrals. Right. And we drop that off. We have an oven mitt that we typically do around Thanksgiving, which is don't get burned by a turkey of a realtor, work with the best, right? And we drop that off. Like, it just needs to be fun. We've done so many different, I've had a chapstick was my best response ever, which is weird. It was 30 cents, a tiny thing of chapstick. Don't get chapped by working with a bad agent, right? That's literally what it said. And I dropped it off and I felt stupid dropping it off. But so many people were like, wow, I need a chapstick. Thank you for doing that.
How does that combo go? How does the pop-by combo go, right? You're dropping off chapstick or spatula. How does that go? Do you call beforehand to let them know you're coming? Like, how does that process work?
So I send them a text message. Okay. So, I've learned that you can't get caught at those doors. You could be there for a long time. So I'd shoot him a text in advance. Hey, Luke, 10 minutes in advance. Luke, I'm going to be right by your area, headed to an appointment, which the next appointment is a pop-by. Wondered if I could swing by real fast and say hello. Right. Sometimes they don't respond. Most of the times they don't. Drop it on their doorstep, take a picture. Wish I could have seen you guys. Just wanted to drop something off. Was thinking about you.
Love that.
Okay. Right. Something real simple. And then if they are there, they already know the expectation is I got to go somewhere. So I'm not going to go inside their house. Right. So if they say, well, come on in, say, hey, I wish I could. I'm headed to an appointment. Just want to see how you're doing. Right. And I brought you a little gift and I'll make fun of it. This is the dumbest thing you've ever gotten this year, but I just wanted you to know how much I appreciate you. Have some chapstick, right? Like, it fits my personality, and so it's got to fit your personality. But no one shows up anymore, right? That's the game. Nobody is showing up to care. The value is that I'm there on their doorstep, not that I bought them $100 gift. Right. That's going to get used once and is going to be gone. And so I think we've just got to understand that as people who desire a relationship. That's how we're all made. They desire a relationship too. Any reason to get on their doorstep is a good reason.
Yeah. Now you're spot on. And I just taught a thing in a Facebook group for insurance agents where I was talking about frequency. This consistency that you're talking about is really the fundamental for trust. Not only because in psychology does frequency create familiarity, which people don't trust you if they're not familiar with you, right? If they're not comfortable with you. But it also, if you think about trust is showing up consistently for periods of time that are significant, right? So meaning like if you are consistently showing up, people have trust that you will again show up for them. Where we fall down is what you're saying is that people just don't do the simple things because they think they're simple. They hold themselves back from doing the chapstick pop-by because they're like, oh, this is dumb. The people aren't going to like it. And they don't realize maybe it's dumb if you did just that for the whole year. But that mixed with 36 other touches actually takes it to the next level. I mean, you closed 88 deals. How big is your database now?
I have 287 people.
That's it. Just 287 and you got 88
Just 287 people.
Close. Yep. Get out of here, dude. You are a freaking rock star.
Well, no, I mean, I appreciate that, but I don't think it is. I think it's that all we do is we're consistent and we care for those people. Again, average person knows 256 people. My database of 300 roughly reaches 75,000 people. Statistically, I've got a 91% chance to convert a referral, right? So for me to have a good business, I need 88 deals to make it 100 to even. I need 100 deals out of those 75,000 people. Like when you break down the math, that's a much better math equation than go buy 75,000 leads and try to get 100 of them, right? I'll take the math equation all day. And the beauty of it is, again, is when you understand that those 287 people, those humans, they want human interaction. They want to be cared for. And how are we wired? When I know someone who's amazing, right? When Lou calls me and says, you got a great tree guy. Absolutely, I do. Connect you to the tree guy. And you call me like, dude, thank you so much for that. He was amazing. We all want that. And so our ears, we're going to be tuned into, oh, you're looking at a house. Hey, call Garrett. They don't know. And I can go into way more details, but they don't know who's a good agent and who isn't, right? Yep. Nobody's actually wired that way to understand the difference. And so they say, hey, Garrett's a great guy. He'll take care of you, right? Not the number one agent. They don't know what that means. He'll take care of you. I take care of them. And they're like, wow, thanks, Garrett. You did a great job for my friend. Now they feel better about themselves. Their friend's excited. They want to get that same reaction. So they're going to pass your name on. And the beauty of it is, at the end of the day, even their closest friends aren't as consistent in a relationship as I am. Now, I'm not excited that their friends are doing a bad job, right? But we can show up and do a good job and actually be the ones caring for them. And I think you're right. That's what creates trust.
There's a golden nugget in there that you said that I think is super powerful, that I've seen amongst the people who I tend to refer business to, and that I also see as really, really good at referral generation in their business, is they are connectors. Like they themselves, you mentioned referring the tree guy, right? But they themselves are natural, like they're giving all the time in connections. It's like, hey, I want to help you. Who do you need? Tree guys. Oh, you need someone for your plumbing, or you need some, like if you are a natural connecting of others, people will connect you because there's just something there. I don't know what happens in the human brain, but I all the time think about those people who are constantly giving me connections. And I want to refer business back to them. It's the power of reciprocity. But that is a really powerful tactic within business, is be a connector, be connections for other people, refer, and you will actually get referred.
I agree 100%. 100%.
Awesome, Garrett. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Before we close out, let people know how they can connect with you, learn about your training program, anything else that you want to promote.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. Man, they can just text me 804-878-2200. Feel free to reach out, or Garrett at businessbyrelationships.com. That's also our website. Man, like you guys, I'm here to help people do it in a better way. Yep. You know, I'm passionate about real estate for the rest of us. You don't need a massive big team. You can succeed the way you want to succeed. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Tell them about your conference too. I want people to know about your conference as well coming up.
So March 2nd and 3rd of this year of 2023, we're launching the Faithful Agent Conference. So you can go to www.faithfulagent.com. It is a Christian real estate conference. Anyone in the real estate space, come. We're going to have awesome speakers like Luke. We're going to have great training, time to get together. You know, I'm highly passionate about bringing Christians together in the real estate space to encourage, to train, to help, be in relationship with one another. That's what we're talking about. So yeah, it's going to be an incredible time. Check it out, faithfulagent.com. Would love for anybody to come.
Awesome, man. Thank you again. And thank you all for listening. Yeah. You can dive deeper into this episode, get those links that Garrett mentioned over at staypaidpodcast.com, as well as the show notes for this episode. And if you enjoyed this episode and want to show your support, you can head on over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, drop us a review there. And the best way to show your support is to simply share this episode with a friend. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can find us on social media. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Aker. Garrett, that was amazing, man. Very motivating. And my action item to everybody listening to this, if you are not motivated right now to make sure that you are connecting at a relationship level with your database, I don't know what will motivate you. I mean, 300 people in his database did 88 deals. I mean, that is insane conversion. And the guy is living a life off the hamster wheel. We all want to live a life off the hamster wheel, a life of freedom. That's why we got into this business, to help others and to help our own selves and our family. You need to connect with your database. What is your 36 touch point plan that you're going to roll out in 2023? It's not that hard. Rewind this podcast and listen to what he described. It's repeating every quarter. It's not hard, but it's hard to do consistently. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every single business, top producers take action. Take action on that today.